Sis boom ba.
Sis boom ba.
Describe the sound made when a sheep explodes.
Johnny Carson hosted 4,531 episodes of The Tonight Show. He sat behind the same desk for 30 years with the same eyebrow, the same smirk, the same composure that made him the most controlled host in the history of American broadcasting. Tonight we're covering the 8 times Johnny Carson broke character on his own show. By the end of this, you'll understand why the obvious read on Carson, unshakable, controlled, always the calmest person in the room, is exactly what made these 8 moments so impossible to look away from. Start with the tomahawk, because Carson named it himself.
What is the trick on it? You underhanded?
No.
Overhanded.
It's an overhand throw. The trick is to keep your arm extended, and that way you break the microphone. You know, you keep your arm extended and put only one revolution on the once around on the way, but that's indefinite. Right.
April 29, 1965. Ed Ames was at the height of his fame as Mingo on Daniel Boone, television's most famous Native American character. He came on Carson's stage to demonstrate the tomahawk throwing technique he had learned for the role. A wooden cowboy outline was set up downstage. Ames explained the form: overhand throw, arm extended, 1 revolution on the way. He wound up. He threw. The tomahawk crossed the stage, and the handle embedded itself directly between the wooden cowboy's legs, pointing upward at a perfect right angle. Carson physically stopped Ames from going to retrieve it. He milked the audience reaction. He waited the longest beat of his career. Then he delivered the ad-libbed line that became the most famous joke in late-night history. "I didn't even know you were Jewish." The sustained laugh that followed is the longest ever officially recorded in American television history. The exploding sheep came 16 years later and took second place. August 5, 1981.
As promised, here's that famous visitor from the East, the all-seeing, all-knowing, all-telling, all-omniscient, famous seer, sage, soothsayer. But you...
Can we get on with this? Carnac a chance. A condor, a bald eagle, and a snail darter. Name 3 things less endangered than Tip O'Neill.
Envelope number 2.
Cannonball Run.
Cannonball Run.
What do you call a drink made with gunpowder and tequila?
Carson was in full Carnac, the magnificent costume, the giant feathered turban, the cape. He had been doing the bit for nearly 20 years. It was the most reliable sketch in his entire arsenal. George Gobel, in 1969, broke him with 11 words and never raised his voice.
We've got this delightful guy. I think he's one of the funny men in our business. Who? George Gobel.
George Gobel?
George Gobel.
Oh, this is beautiful.
It is good to see you. I thought you were...
What did you call me? Lonesome what?
No, I'm talking about George Gobel.
Pretty fast league.
Oh, this is the 8 troops are out here
And
tonight.
I'm glad you saved me. Now, did you ever get the feeling... Did you ever get the feeling that the world was a tuxedo and you were a pair of brown shoes?
Exactly what time did I lose control of the show? You make a note of it?
Bob Hope was on the panel. Dean Martin was on the panel. Buddy Rich, Carol Wayne. The room was stacked with legends. Carson brought out George Gobel, a 50s TV variety star whose career had cratered by the late 60s, and Gobel walked out third, clearly tipsy after an hour waiting backstage, wearing a tuxedo, trying to hold his own on a panel where Dean Martin was secretly flicking cigarette ashes into his drink from behind. The audience could see it. Gobel couldn't. Carson handed him the floor and asked a softball question. Gobel looked at the room around him and said, "Did you ever get the feeling that the world was a tuxedo, and you were a pair of brown shoes?" Carson died. Dean Martin died. Bob Hope died. The panel was gone. Carson admitted on air that he had lost control of the show and asked for the timestamp. The cheetah required no words at all. September 13th, 1974. Joan Embury was the goodwill ambassador from the San Diego Zoo. She had brought a cheetah. Carson delivered a confident speech from his desk about 5 feet from the animal. "Just relax. They purr. They can sense fear. If you look them in the face and talk to them, they know you're not scared."
They know you're not scared.
The cheetah lunged. Carson screamed, sprinted across the stage, and physically leaped into Ed McMahon's arms. The most polished host in the history of American television was hanging off his sidekick in front of a live studio audience. He never finished the sentence about fearless animals. 2 weeks later, September 26th, the same desk produced a different kind of chaos. Dom DeLuise came on with a kitchen magic trick. 5 glasses of water, a tray, 5 raw eggs. When he hit the tray, the eggs were supposed to fall perfectly into the glasses.
Okay.
Well, here we are at the trick.
Okay, here we are at the trick. Now let me just tell you that I have 5 glasses of water.
I like this very much. What are you scared
What
of?
I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the tray, and all the eggs that I put up here are going to fall in the glass. It's really nice, John. You're going to love it.
What is my role in it?
Your role is to sit there and trust me. And no.
Just in case it doesn't work.
Wait, just let me prove to you that the eggs
Oh,
are
yeah,
raw.
yeah,
They're all okay. The eggs are all raw.
Just
okay?
in case this doesn't work.
He warned Carson the eggs were raw, just in case. He counted down. He hit the tray. The trick failed completely on live national television. Eggs went everywhere. Carson's suit was destroyed. He cracked eggs into DeLuise's pockets. DeLuise cracked eggs into Carson's pockets. Carson told the producer no more guests, then immediately called for Burt Reynolds. Reynolds walked out, saw the carnage, picked up a can of shaving cream, and sprayed Carson down. Carson grabbed his own can. The Tonight Show desk, usually one of the most controlled set pieces in late-night history, became a war zone of dairy and foam while Carson laughed so hard he couldn't speak. The cigarette box incident is the only time Carson ever abandoned his own show. December 14th, 1976. Carson returned from vacation and noticed his wooden cigarette box, which he had kept on that desk since 1962, brought up from New York, had been broken by Don Rickles while guest hosting the previous night. Carson was told Rickles was currently taping his sitcom CPO Sharky on the next soundstage at NBC. Mid-show, with his own audience watching, Carson stood up, grabbed a microphone and a cameraman, marched off his own stage, and kicked open the door of the CPO Sharky set mid-take. He had never done anything like it in 14 years of hosting. He never did it again.
What the hell happened to this? You know how long I've had the cigarette box on this desk?
You brought that up from New York City?
I brought this from New York. What?
Last night. He's taping across the hall. CPO Shark.
Can I get over there? Can I get over there? I don't give a damn if they're on the air.
Rickles! Rickles, hold! Stop the taping. Stop the taping. Somebody broke my cigarette box. We're taping. I just started the show. I picked my box up off my desk that I've had for 9 years. My box is broken.
Rickles froze and stammered and tried to recover his footing in front of 2 audiences simultaneously. Rickles confirmed years later in the New York Times that the entire raid was completely unscripted. Carson killed him with a single line and marched back.